Look at this, I'm live. No background this time. I'm going straight into it. Although you got the cheesy music this time as well. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the live stream. I can see people starting to tune in now, which is great. We're going live to talk about Cask 6.44 Sentio bonum bibation in our July Outturn, which is this Friday. I've done a little bit of research on this bottling before. I've written a bit about it in the Outturn, which I hope some of you haven't had a chance to read. I just want to welcome everyone who's joining into the stream. It is 7 o'clock on Tuesday, the 29th of June. I'm actually in a different location, as you can see at the moment. It's actually the same location from where I normally broadcast, but we are in the middle of moving house, moving things up a bit, changing things around. I think you meant to say hello, everyone, says James Finnegan. Good to see you, James. Hope you're well. So at the moment, there's stuff everywhere all over the place. And at the same time, there's empty rooms like this one. And that's why it might sound a bit boomy where I am at the moment, because it's and moving house at the moment, like I say. So there's different background, same house, same office, same everything here. Hello, he's meant to say, James, good to see you. Hello. Outturn is this Friday. Outturn is Friday, which is the same. That's something that happens every single month. Is the first Friday of the month is Outturn Day. Now, Outturn is our monthly catalogue of bottlings available exclusively to members of the Scotch Malt Whisky Society. It was a really nice whiskey. We'll grab a bottle. That's someone who's obviously tasted it either at a recent event or at Whiskey and Almond. I can't see who your name is. We had to reconnect, by the way, our StreamYard Facebook connection, so it would have lost a lot of people's names, but I'm glad you enjoy it. Like I say, we are tasting the 6.44, and I wrote at the beginning, it says Malt of the Month. Now, let's start with that. What is Malt of the Month? Malt of the Month is a bottling that our cellar master, Andrew, picks out for each month as something special to share around for members to have enough access to and at an amazing price. Let's just talk about the price of this for a second. It's a Speyside Juicy Oak and Vanilla second fill ex-bourbon barrel, 11-year-old whiskey at 56.8%. 56.8%. This is cask strength whiskey here. And it's an 11-year-old single cask reduced down to $145. I don't know about you. If you've been keeping track of pricing of whiskey, of cask strength whiskey over the last few years, the society has been getting progressively more affordable. It's become more accessible for members to actually jump on these bottlings. And that's a good thing. I mean, I know sometimes we've had this misconception that people think, oh, it's cheaper, so therefore it must not be very good. That's not the case for this at all. Even though I've packing boxes everywhere and there's stuff everywhere, I've managed to hold on to a glass, hold on to my water jug, and hold on to my broadcasting equipment. So it's I'm able to actually share this with you tonight. I'm going to crack the seal on this. You can see I'm cracking a fresh seal here on this bottle. That's one less Malt of the Month to go around, I'm afraid. But I'll share this bottle with members, of course, as I always do. Cork test. Yep, it's got the sound. Okay, I'm going to pour a bit of this into the glass. Nice bit of glug there. Now, put the cap back in that. Sentio bonum bibation. Does anyone in the comments want to let me know exactly what that translates to? I did look it up a while ago, but I'm going to rely on you for this one. This one falls into our Juicy Oak and Vanilla. It is a sweet fruity and I almost said sweet fruity and mellow. It's a Juicy Oak and Vanilla, so it's that sort of light blue profile. I mean, I'm expecting notes of sort of like that juiciness, that oakiness, that vanilla-ious. I couldn't make that up, could I? It's very what's the word for it? It's almost a little bit shy on the nose on that first pour. Are you one of those people that believes in neck pours? I'm not sure I do. I've talked about this in live before. Is there such a thing as a neck pour in whiskey? As in like the first pour out of the bottle? Is that some people consider that inferior to the whiskey within the body of the bottle? I don't believe in neck pours. I don't think they exist. This is an odd distillery. This is a fairly modern distillery as well. So it's a modern odd distillery. 1962 it was built, and it has 5 stills, not like 5 pairs or 3 pairs of 2 or anything like that. Most distilleries have an even number of stills because they have a wash and a spirit still, the bigger wash still for the smaller spirit still. Most distilleries operate like that, especially in Scotland. And this distillery has 3 wash and 2 spirit, if from memory. I might get that around the wrong way. But anyway, having 5 stills is weird to begin with. It's an uncommon number of stills. Therefore, the process has to be fairly modernized on how they produce the spirit. This is owned by a big company called Pernod Ricard, who, from memory, they have a single malt with this from this distillery that it does come out. No, I'm getting so many things wrong tonight. 2 things. It's owned by Bacardi Group. My mistake. But it is not promoted as a single malt. So this distillery, which starts with M in our coding system, distillery number 6, does not have a single malt under that name. The whiskey they produce calls itself Glendeveron. Glendeveron, Deveron. And Glendeveron is their single malt, which is relatively unknown. It doesn't really get a whole lot of sort of notoriety. Doesn't get a whole lot of sort of a spotlight on it at all. It'd have a fairly niche audience. I get that. I feel good drinking. So do I, Mark. That's why I'm here. So whilst I'm noticing that, it's actually starting to open up a bit now. It is funky and fruity as well. Like apples, peaches, pears, lots of those stone fruits. Tiny bit of ginger, mint sprigs. I'm going to keep noticing that for a moment. John Hitchin asks, if you do not believe in neck pour, why do you keep on mentioning it? Well, because John, a lot of the time that I'm pouring whiskey on the live streams here is the first pour out of the bottle. And I quite often get comments and messages and questions from people saying, oh, but what about whiskey later on? I mean, is it better later on, or did you rate that on neck pour? And I say, well, I don't think it's a thing. That's why I mention it, because I get asked about it a lot, especially on cask strength whiskey, it seems. I feel good drinking. That is the translation. Sorry, Mark. I know what you're talking about now. Yes, but the third word in it, the bibation, means almost to excess, doesn't it? I think I feel good drinking, but to excess, we endorse responsible drinking at the Scotch Malt Whisky Society. I should just say drink responsibly, but at the same time, it's almost bibation. I'm pretty sure means like to excess, doesn't it? Evening all, says someone. I'm sorry, we had to reset our StreamYard Facebook connection, so I can't see everyone's name straight away. I hope you're well. Look, this, like I said, I've just poured, for those just tuned in, I've just poured 6.44 Sentio bonum bibation, which Mark Teague, one of our members in Tasmania, rightly tells me translates to I feel good drinking, or feel good drinking essentially, or feel good drinking to excess. We do not promote excessive drinking at the society. We endorse responsibly. But okay, I was just talking a little bit about this distillery as well. Founded in 1962, part of the Bacardi Group. I got that wrong. I'm sorry. And not promoted as a single malt. And their single malt, which goes under the brand of Glendeveron, they use a different brand name for their single malt as they do the distillery name. Take 2, evening. James has just been sitting through our had to sit through the Magnificent Mystery Malts, which he was catching up on. So James, good to see you back again. This is it's starting to leap out of the glass a bit now, as I said. Those melon notes, those ginger, fresh ginger, like fresh grated ginger, mint sprig. Almost dessertish, almost like a bit of pavlova. So a bit of sweetness there, a bit of that white sugar pavlova going on. I'm going to have a taste. Ooh, that finish. Oh, that's unbelievable. Oh, wow. 56.8, but it really bounces around it in the mouth. I say that like it bounces around, as in like it does taste almost like it's higher than 56.8, which can be very enjoyable. That one definitely bounces around the palate a bit. That's where the spice is. I can't get over the finish on that. Wow. That finish is really just like zinging, like left or right on the palate. That's amazing. There you go. Wow. I'm getting a bit of like fresh pineapple juice now, like squeezed pineapple, pressed pineapple. You know, there's pressed juices. You know, there's like cold pressed juices as they call them. I think it's one of those things, like a bit of pineapple version of that. Bit of red berry on the nose now. It's funny. One of the things I love exploring with a whiskey is the nose, and then the nose after you've tasted it. You'd think that on some level it would almost be the same thing. It's absolutely not at all. They change, not always, but it does change. And the way you nose it to begin with will be different to how you nose it after you've tasted it, and you'll suddenly reveal, because obviously your palate and your nose and your taste buds and your olfactory senses are all connected. And as soon as you taste something where the nose then changes everything, the palate changes everything that you've just nosed, and that's really exciting for me as well. Whiskey is my jam, aka Mark II, or Take Two, Mark II. There you go. I'm gonna add a bit of water to that. I'm gonna see how this holds up with a drop of water. I'll show you how much I'm adding, just so you can play along at home if you decide to do the same with your bottle of this. Just a generous dash, really. It doesn't need. I'm not going to go for a few drops. I'm going to add a generous dash because I'm going to see how that holds up. Now I'm getting a bit of that sort of like vanilla drizzled sort of fruit salad. It hasn't destroyed the nose at all. I would wager that's far better with water, actually. I haven't had a dram for a few days, and that one, I mean, it's very zingy, but it's in a really nice way. It's like, especially if you, this is the kind of dram you'd open like a warm Sunday afternoon kind of thing. I know that's not really the weather for it right now, but it's also the kind of dram that you could share around with some friends who might not be as experienced with cask strength whiskey, and show them where all that flavor, how the flavor carries in a good whiskey, how it's not just all in the there's a world beyond 40%, as I like to say. This is the kind of whiskey you could really sort of like showcase to someone about how a whiskey behaves at a cask strength, because this is a wild beast. It's a wildly spicy, rich, floral melon notes. The ginger, the fresh ginger. See, it's funny that the fresh ginger is coming through in this whiskey. It's not funny, but it is, because I would call that a very distinct distillate character of this distillery. I've had the privilege of trying quite a few from Distillery 6, both SMWS bottlings and other bottlings, and there is almost always a I like to call like a savory, like curry powder and fresh ginger sprig kind of like a mint leaf kind of note to a lot of the spirit that comes out of this distillery. And I consider that a very desirable thing. That's a very desirable thing. It's a savory note. There's not. I was talking to actually James Caden earlier this evening about how not every single whiskey. He was talking about a particular whiskey that has had quite a savory character to it, and it's like, and that's the thing. I had a nutty savory character to a Distillery 68, and how once you start exploring these whiskeys that aren't just purely sweet or peaty, and that's that next sort of step in your palate trajectory, isn't it? That learning that we take of understanding different aspects of flavor. And that's where you might start saying things like umami notes, or you might get nutty notes, or you might get fishy notes, but not peat, and you might get whatever it is, in this case, ginger and ginger and mint kind of notes, which are unbelievable in a whiskey. That almost shouldn't exist in a whiskey, but it's so fascinatingly interesting. And that's why, often if you're quite narrow-minded about flavor, it's sort of like, well, these are blends, these are sweet, these are peat. And it's sort of like, well, your boundaries widen straight away as soon as you start exploring other flavors that could exist based on the character of the distillate and the maturation of this whiskey. And in this case, after 11 years in a second fill bourbon barrel. So it's picked up a lovely influence of that second fill, but it hasn't become, it's not overly spirit driven. It's not overly cask driven. Like all good whiskeys, it should meet right in the middle. Cask, spirit, right in the middle. But that's Malt of the Month, folks. juicy oak and vanilla, 6.44 Sentio bonum bibation. And I recommend it. I really do. I recommend having a taste, exploring this whiskey. If you live in Sydney, then, and I'm not sure if he's open right now because of the current lockdowns, and I would recommend staying home. Really, that's the best advice at the moment. But Captain's Balcony that we're going to do the Outturn preview with did keep their bottle of this, so they've got that on the bar. Whiskey and Almond, where Melbourne, you lucky dogs, you've got full open at the moment. So you guys have got you can taste it at Whiskey and Almond as well, because they took this one on as well as a big stack of July Outturn. So great to see them supporting the society as always. We love all the partner bars in our network. In fact, I was just having a chat on the phone just before this live stream with Ray Daniel from Webster's, which is a new partner bar in Sydney, in Newtown. They're going to be reopening in 2 weeks, I presume. I knew I was going to get asked this on the live stream, and we're going to announce it all tomorrow morning, but I may as well just make the announcement now for those who have to make changes to their flights. And yes, I've said changes. Any AMWTC update, or is it just fingers crossed for now? Look, we're going to announce tomorrow morning that we are going to reschedule the champs. And I'm really sorry to announce that here on the live stream. But if you've stayed along this long, then maybe you should know. I mean, especially for people like Mark who would have to be traveling from Tasmania. We're not confident that, we've already been told by the venue that there's reasons that we won't be able to do the full extent of the champs, even if the lockdown finishes on time. So we want to make sure that there's enough time. We'll announce the new date tomorrow. We're just working it out with the venue at the moment. If you have flights booked and accommodation booked for champs, we recommend please getting credit for that now and making sure that you've got credit for it, that you can get refunds or credits, whatever you need. The airlines and hotels are being very, very good at the moment with that kind of stuff, of course. That's the champs update. Sorry about that. I'll tell you more about it tomorrow. That was a cracker for sure. Would definitely recommend. Almost like whiz fizz on the palate. Yeah, it is a bit whiz fizzy, isn't it? There's an absolute sort of zing to the palate, as I said earlier on with this one. There's a funky fruitiness to it that I've got to delve into a bit more. I'm going to take my time with the rest of that dram. I've added a big dash of water, which I think really helped that one, actually. Was this the first whiskey on show at the festival event in Melbourne? That's probably an Alex Moore's question, but yes. No, it was. Matthew, that was the first whiskey on taste at the festival event. It was an Outturn. It was a Malt of the Month preview at the Melbourne event. I hope you guys had a really good time. Our photographer is going to get me through all the photos, which we'll put up on socials in the next day or two, I hope. And I'll let you know what that looks like, because I wasn't there. I would have loved to have been there, and I hope you all had a lot of fun with Alex hosting. But yes, Matthew, they'll be up. That was the 6.44 was the first one. Incredible value though, like $145. If you can find an 11-year-old single cask strength whiskey for that price in Australia, anywhere, or even imported, you let me know, because that's absurd value as well. I think it is. I'm going to leave it there now for folks. I'm going to leave it there for now, folks. I'm losing track of my words. It's been a long day, and I'll catch up with you all later in the week. It is Outturn week, of course. Grab your copy online, have a read. The full July Outturn, all about Enter a World of Flavor. We're going to be doing a couple more previews, I hope, in the next coming days. But in the meantime, dram on, stay in good spirits. Hope you've learned a little bit about this distillery, a little bit about this distillate, and a little bit about what's coming up this Friday. Keep an eye on our Outturn. We've also got our virtual tasting, which I'm sure is going to be very busy for our New South Wales members, but of course members all around the country. I will speak to you all soon. Have a great night. Cheers.